Good morning, children. Today we will start with the chapter Chemical Kinetics. You are little bit familiar with chemical kinetics as you have done in standard 11 also, chemical kinetics. This video is the revision lecture of standard 11. Because in standard 12, whatever you will learn in chemical kinetics, it is having some relationship with whatever you have learned in standard 11. So, if you'll see this video, then you can recall the terms, the terminology, the whatever you have done in chemical kinetics, and it will be easy for you to relate whatever you have learned in standard 11 and whatever you are going to learn in standard 12. Now the very basic question is coming, what is chemical kinetics? Chemical kinetics is the branch of chemical science that deals with the study of rates of chemical reaction. See, a chemical reaction involves the conversion of reactant into products. It occurs in the direction in which the free energy of the system decreases. Okay, now all chemical reactions do not occur at the same rate. Some reactions may be very fast, some reaction may be very slow. It can take a month to complete. Suppose rusting of iron. It will take a long time. That means the rate of the reaction is very slow. So the chemical kinetics, the kinetics of a reaction is saying the rate of a chemical reaction, and there are several factors on which a reaction rate is depending. What are the factors that affect the reaction rate? That is known as chemical kinetics. Now, to understand and predict the behavior of a chemical system, one must consider both the things, that is thermodynamics and the kinetics. Thermodynamics means because of the factors, because of the conditions, that is temperature, energy, all these things, as I told you, that gives free energy, that is the free energy, in which side it will be decreasing, that side the reaction will proceed. Okay, like that, the free energy, the entropy change, all these things are there. Whether thermodynamics means whether a reaction will take place or not. This is the first thing, whether a reaction will take place or not. And if it is taking place, then how fast does a reaction proceed? So, when we are talking about a chemical reaction, that means both the things together, they are working, the thermodynamics of the reaction and the kinetics, that is the rate of the change of the reaction. Both the things together will give you the kinetics of a reaction. The rate of a reaction, how it is changing, everything is depending upon this. Both the things are responsible, the thermodynamics and the kinetics of the reaction. Now, what is a reaction rate? Rate means change in time. Rate. So, rate of a chemical reaction is equal to the change in concentration of reactants or products in a particular time. That is the rate. Rate means it is with a particular time. What will change? The concentration of the reactant can change, as well as the concentration of the product can change. If suppose a reaction is going from reactant side to product side, that means after a certain period of time, the concentration of the reactant will decrease concentration of the product will increase. So rate of a reaction, I can say, with respect to reactants, with respect to product, whatever it may be, the change in concentration by change in time. Concentration is given in the unit moles per liter and the time with second, minute, hour, whatever it may be. So units of rate of reaction is mole liter minus 1 second minus 1 or mole liter inverse meter inverse. Okay, when the reactants and products are in gaseous state, suppose they are in gaseous state, then the concentrations are expressed in terms of partial pressure. In such cases, units of reaction rate would be atmosphere second inverse or atmosphere minute inverse. I think you have understood and you know about all these things. See in this slide, whatever I have said, just a graphical representation is there and the mathematical expression also. Now see that there is a graph. It is showing there are two color. One is purple color, this one is purple color, and this one is your green color. Okay, now purple color is given for reactant. This is the reactant one. This is the reactant. And green one is for the product. And see all this because the reaction is proceeding in this way. Just see, this is forming, this is proceeding in this way. See, this is the first because is only the reactants, purple color. Then purple is changing to green. Then purple is changing to more green. Then more green. Then more green. Then more green. Then at the end it is only green. No purple. That means the whole reactants has changed into product. That is green. So see that here the reactant A is giving you product B. As I told you, the concentration of the reactant A, purple, decreases with time. See, it is decreasing with time like this. It is decreasing with time. And the green color is increasing with time. This is the time. This is the time. Okay. And this is your concentration. So concentration is, this is your concentration and this is your time. Okay. So concentration of A is decreasing. See this one, the concentration of A is decreasing and concentration of B is increasing. That means the product is increasing and the reactant is decreasing. Okay, so the concentrations of A and B are measured at time T1 and T2. They are respectively A1, A2 and B1, B2. Suppose. Now, let us see what is happening in the next slide. How to find out the reaction rate? Rate with respect to A also you can calculate and rate with respect to B also you can calculate. A is the reactant and B is the product as you have seen in the last slide. Now suppose at time T is equal to 0, the concentration of A is A1. And at time T is equals to T, that means after some time, the concentration of A is A2. Now, when the concentration of A at time T is A2 I have taken, that means at the beginning of the reaction has not started only. So the concentration of A at time T is equals to 0, A1 is greater than A2. Okay, and suppose for B, that is the product, at the beginning of the reaction, that is time t is equals to 0, the concentration of B is B1, and after some times when t is equals to T, suppose the concentration of B is B2, but at the beginning there was no product, so B1 is less than B2, because after some times the A consumed and the B produced. Okay, so if I want to write the rate with respect to A, that is the change in concentration of A by change in time, is equals to concentration of A2, this is A2 minus A1 divided by T2 minus T1. So this is coming, as A1 is greater than A2, it is coming minus delta A by delta T. Okay, now rate with respect to B, that similarly the change in concentration of B by change in time. So it is the concentration B2 minus B1 by T2 minus T1, but B2 is greater than B1, so it is coming plus delta B by delta T. So what we can write for the simpler reaction, rate can be written as delta A by delta T, a minus sign will be here, minus delta A by delta T is equals to delta B by delta T, both are same. We can find out the rate either from here or from here, and the minus sign we used because the concentration of A is decreasing for a particular period of time. The average rate of reaction is decreases with time as concentration of reactants decreases. Okay. Now instantaneous rate. How to find out the instantaneous rate? That means the rate of a reaction at a particular instant of time. Change in the concentration of the reactants or products at a given instant of time is known as instantaneous rate. That I already told you. How to find out the rate at a particular time, at a particular given instant of time. You can find out by taking the tangent in the graph curve. This is the concentration time curve of a reaction. Now suppose in this particular instant you have to find out the rate. So you have to draw a tangent at that point, and then the slope, that is the concentration C2 minus C1 by T2 minus T1. But it is for a particular instant of time, so limit time tends to 0. Okay, that we are doing limit times tends to 0 because we are calculating the instantaneous rate for a particular instant of time. So we are making that time limit it to 0. So instantaneous rate can be found out by delta x by delta t, or it can also be written as dx by dt. I hope you all remember all these things. Now see here in this slide, you can understand the average and the instantaneous reaction rate in a better way. See, the reaction is A is giving you B. So the rate of the reaction can be taken in two ways with respect to A, that is minus delta A by delta T, where delta is the change in concentration of A over time period of delta T, and rate can be given with respect to B, that is rate is equal to delta B by delta T, where delta B is the change in concentration of B over time period delta T. Because A is decreasing with time, that is why delta A is negative. See the figure, the reactant is decreasing and the product is increasing. The concentration of A is decreasing and the concentration of B is increasing. Average reaction rate is also given by minus delta A by delta T. Okay. And instantaneous reaction rate can be given the average reaction rate where limit delta T tends to 0 because it is for a particular moment of time. So delta T is, we are just limiting it to 0. Okay, it is clear to you? This is the factors affecting reaction rate. What are the factors on which a rate of a reaction depends? The factors are nature of reactants, surface area of reactants, concentration of reactants, temperature, and the catalyst if present in a particular reaction. The first is the nature of reactants. What are these things? Rate of homogeneous reaction is higher than heterogeneous reaction. The second one is rate depends on physical state of reactants, whether the reactants are in solid state or liquid state or gaseous state. And as you know that if the reactants are in solid state, the rate is little low. Rate depends on number of collisions or encounters between the reacting species. It is depending upon the collisions of the reacting species. If the collision is more, rate of the reaction is more. Okay. Next is coming surface area of the reactants. You know that if we increase the surface area, the rate of the reaction is also increasing. Heterogeneous reaction occurs at interface of two phases of reactants. If one reactant is solid, rate increases with increase in surface area of solid phase reactant. How? I am showing you. Why I am showing you. Surface area increases, area of contact between the reactant increases. Are you getting the point? Surface, if you can increase the surface area, then area of contact between the reactants is increasing. So, the collisions between the reacting species or the encounters will also increase, and hence the rate will also increase. Am I clear to you? Now, surface area of a solid can be increased. How you can increase the surface area of a solid? By subdivision. That means divide the solid, and that is why when we want to dissolve something, suppose we want to dissolve sugar in water, then what we are doing? The crystal sugar, if you want to dissolve crystal sugar in water, then if you are making it powder, it will dissolve faster. What we are doing? If you are making it powder, that means we are increasing the surface area. So what I am doing actually, I am dividing the bigger particle into smaller particle. Now this slide is showing how the surface area of a solid increasing by dividing that particular solid, making the subdivision of the solid. Now see the first one. Let us take this solid, this cube. There's a cube which is having all the sides of 1 meter. So its volume is coming 1 meter cube and its surface area is coming 6 meters square because it is having 6 surfaces. Now I am just dividing it into 2 parts. See here, I am dividing it into 2 parts. So if I am dividing it into 2 parts, then the volume of these two together, because I am just making 2 parts of this cube. So the volume of these 2 parts together is coming 1 meter cube. But the surface area, the volume of this cube is, and this cube is getting 1 meter cube. The volume is not changing. But the surface area of this one, this particular cube, this particular, it is not a cube now, this particular, suppose it is a part, is coming how much? See, this one, I'm just dividing it. So it is having two sides, this one and this side is having 1 into 1. So it is 1 meter square. Length and breadth 1, 1. Now this one, I'm just dividing this side. So I'm getting 1 into 0.5 of 4 parts. One is at the upper one is at the lower one is in front one, and another is the back one. So the two sides I'm getting the surface area 1 and 1. Two sides I'm getting 1 and 1. That is 1 plus 1 is 2. And I'm having 4 sides of length and breadth 1 into 0.5. Okay, so that is 2. So altogether the surface area of A is coming 2 plus 2, that is 4. Here also it is 4. So the surface area is coming 8 meters square. You just calculate on your own. We'll get it. Similarly, if I'm increasing this, I'm just making it again, I'm dividing it into 2 parts again. So I'm getting 4 parts. Okay, so this one is coming to 2.5. This one is 2.5. So 1 is 2.5, 1 into 2.5, like that I'm getting 4 sides. And these 2 sides are having 1 and 1. So if you calculate that whole, I am getting 12 meters square. You please calculate on your own. But the volume is remaining 1 meter cube. Now again I am dividing it further. So I am getting 20 meters square. Again I am dividing into further. I am getting 36 meters square. And if I am dividing, making it powder, then what is the surface area? So if you can do that, then it can catch fire. Okay, so if it increase the surface area, the rate of the reaction will increase. Okay, and that is the case why we are increasing the surface area. By increasing the surface area, solid reactants can be increased. The surface area of the solid reactants can be increased by subdividing into smaller particles, and greater is the rate of the reaction. That is, the collision or encounter of the reactant molecules will increase in that way. And that is why coal dust burns in air faster as compared to the piece of coal. And powdered sugar dissolve in water more rapidly as compared to sugar crystals. Are you getting my point? Now this is the effect of concentration and temperature both. Now concentration means that reacting molecules must collide with proper orientation and sufficient energy. If the temperature increases, the average kinetic energy increases. If the kinetic energy increases, the particle move faster, and the collision energy and the collision frequency will also increase. And hence the rate increases. So concentration also should be there, and along with that, if you increase the temperature, then the collision will be more. And if the collision will be more, then your product will also be more. The rate of the reaction will also be more. Now see here in this diagram, we have few molecules here. Few molecules. You see, you can see that few molecules are here. There are few collision and the rate of the reaction is low because the molecules are not too much. So if we'll increase the temperature also, then also the concentration is less. So these molecules only can collide. But suppose if you're increasing the concentration, this is the increased concentration, suppose. Now, what is happening here? Here we have many molecules, so there are more collisions and the rate of the reaction is greater. And see, this is the graph with the temperature and the concentration. It is not visible actually. This is the reaction rate. It is the reaction rate. Okay, it is the reaction rate. And this is the temperature. This is actually temperature. And this is reaction rate. Okay, this axis is the reaction rate. Now what is happening as we are increasing the temperature? You can see from here this graph. As we are increasing the temperature, the reaction rate is also increasing. As you are increasing the temperature, reaction rate is also increasing. Am I clear to you? Catalyst. Now catalyst, if present in a reaction, suppose it is increasing the reaction rate. How it is doing that? What is actually happening? Catalyst is playing a very important role in a reaction. You all know about it. What is a catalyst? That a catalyst is a substance that is increasing the rate of the reaction. Okay. And actually what is happening? It is not taking part in a chemical reaction. Now catalyst actually is providing an alternative mechanism, reaction mechanism, which is faster than the mechanism is happening in a reaction when the catalyst was absent. When the catalyst is not there, not present, then also some mechanism is going on. And if you are giving a catalyst, then it will provide you an alternate reaction mechanism which is faster than the previous one when it was absence of catalyst. It is what it is doing? It is again lowering the activation energy for a chemical reaction. Now what is activation energy? That I'll tell you in the next video. Okay. Simple catalyzed reaction scheme. What is happening here? Suppose C is the catalyst and R1 and R2 are the two reactants and P1 and P2 are the product forms and I is the intermediate forming. Okay, what is happening? R1 first react with the catalyst. It is giving you an intermediate I and a product I1. P1, and then I is again reacting with R2. It is giving you I and P2. Okay, now see the graph here. This is the red one is the graph for reaction mechanism, or this is the activation energy for this red graph. This red graph indicates the reaction without catalyst. And the blue one is a reaction that is showing you the pathway for the reaction with catalyst. So their activation energy, the activation energy of this one is low than the activation energy of this one. That means the reactants has to activate up to a certain level of energy and then the reaction will take place and then the product will form. Okay, so without catalyst it has to go up to this much and with catalyst it is going up only up to this much. So naturally this reaction is faster with the catalyst. You can understand that the reaction is faster. So this catalyst is playing a very important role to find out the rate of a reaction, for completing a reaction. So this I'll tell you in the next video. Now coming to law of mass action. Dependence of reaction rate on concentration of reactants. How the reaction rate is depending on the concentration of reactants. See, what is that at constant temperature, the rate of a chemical reaction is directly proportional to the product of active masses of the reacting species. With each active mass term raised to the power equal to the stoichiometric coefficient of that species in the chemical reaction. This is known as law of mass action. Rate of reaction is depending upon the concentration of the reactants. Okay, a rate of a chemical reaction is depending upon the concentration. How much is the concentration? It is depending, suppose I am having a reaction A and B is giving you C. So the rate of a reaction is depending upon A, concentration of A. The rate of a reaction is also depending upon the concentration of B. Okay, so suppose, and if there is any stoichiometry, then the rate of a reaction is depending upon the active masses, active mass term, that is product of the active mass, and that is the active mass term raised to the power equal to their stoichiometric coefficient. Okay, now consider the general reaction. Suppose AA is giving plus BB plus CC is giving you a product. Okay, now according to the law of mass action, rate of a reaction, as I told you, is proportional to the concentration term A raised to the power A, because this is the stoichiometry, B raised to the power B, that is the stoichiometry, C raised to the power C, that is the stoichiometry, and A, B and C are kept in a box bracket. You know that if I am writing something with a box bracket, that means it is the concentration. Now, to remove that proportionality sign, it is given 1K. So, rate of a reaction is equal to K, A to the power A, B to the power B and C to the power C. Now, the term coming active mass. What is the meaning of that? Active mass of a substance in the solution or gas phase is equal to its molar concentration. How much is the concentration? Molar concentration. Okay. But in real system, active mass is somewhat less than the molar concentration. Okay. It is little less than the molar concentration. So, a new term, activity, has been introduced. Okay, to account for the active mass. Because maybe what is the molar concentration, the whole concentration of that particular reactant, suppose the number of moles, how much the number of moles are present in 1 liter, in a liter, all the molecules are not taking part in a chemical reaction actively. So the molecules which are taking part actively in a chemical reaction, that is known as the active mass. And that is also known as activity. Okay, this is a new term. How much is actively taking part? In the present discussion, however, molar concentration will be considered as active mass. Because the practical case, it is so that the full molar concentration is not taking part in the reaction. But in the present case, we will take that active mass, activity, whatever we are saying, that is equal to the molar concentration. We will consider that what is the concentration of that particular reactant. We will take it as the active mass. Now this is how to express the concentration. As I told you, if I am writing something within a box bracket, that means this is the concentration of A. When you see square bracket around the formula, it means it's concentration. So if I'm writing this HCl within a bracket, that means it's a concentration of HCl. So we could say that the rate is proportional to the concentration of the reactants. We can write in this way. Concentration of X, concentration of Y is proportional, rate is proportional to this, X and Y. And if I want to equate it, then I have to put one K here. That means this is depending upon the concentration of X and Y, if X and Y are the reactants. Now, what is rate law and rate constant? The mathematical expression which describe the experimentally observed dependence of the reaction rate on molar concentration of the reactants is called the rate law. See, theoretically we are saying that the rate of a reaction is proportional, it is depending upon the molar concentration of the reactants. But practically, experimentally, maybe it is not same. Experimentally, maybe all the full molar concentration of the reactants, what is the concentration of the reactants, is not taking part in the reaction. So, experimentally observed dependence of the rate of a reaction on the molar concentration. How the rate of a reaction is depending on the molar concentration of the reactant is known as rate law. That is theoretical. And this is practically, experimentally, we may get something different from the theoretical value. That is known as rate law, or it is also known as rate equation. I hope you have understood that. See these boxes. Now we know how to work out the rate of a reaction. Proportional to concentration of reactants, rate of a reaction. Okay, so we know how to work out the rate of a reaction, but that doesn't tell us if all the reactants make the same contribution to overall reaction or not. It is not saying that whether all the reactants make the same contribution. As I told you, maybe all molecules will not take part. So that is where the rate expression comes in. Because experimentally we are getting something else. So, and that is known as the rate law or rate equation. So rate expression comes in. Look at this reaction, X plus Y is giving you Z. Now, X may make more contribution to the rate of the reaction than Y. X may make more contribution. X and Y both are reacting. Now, in this reaction, maybe X contribution is more than Y. Or another way can be X may make no contribution to the rate of the reaction. And instead, Y is only reacting. Y is only, the reaction is only depending upon Y. X is not taking part, no contribution. Both the thing can happen. Okay. The only way to find out is through experiment, whether what is happening inside the reaction. That is only the experiment. With the experiment we can find out that. There is no other way. And that is why the rate expression comes in. And with that only it will come the order of a reaction. Okay. So rate law and rate constant. The continuation of the previous slide. If the rate is like this, is proportional to the concentration of X and concentration of Y. If it is depending on both, it is depending on X also, it is depending on Y also. So what is the conclusion? This suggests that X and Y both have an equal effect on the rate of this reaction. Understood? Next is, what would happen if you double the concentration of X or Y? If you double it, concentration of X I'm doubling, or the concentration of Y I'm doubling. So that will be 2X or 2Y. So the rate of the reaction would also be double, because in that case it will be 2XY. Okay. Now what would happen if we had X to the power Y? Okay. Now doubling the concentration of Y, X to the power 2, and we are doubling it. So would quadruple the reaction rate. Am I clear to you? The proportionality constant, rate constant, or specific rate constant, I already told you that. What is that? The rate of a reaction, rate can be written as proportional to X and Y. So if I want to remove that proportionality sign, R is equals to K, X and Y. Okay. What is happening? You see, unfortunately, the proportionality sign aren't very useful to us. So we have to replace it with a constant. K is the symbol for rate constant. So rate can be written as Kxy. Now K is different for every reaction. This K varies with temperature. So temperature must be stated when quoting K. Okay. Now see here, the rate constant of a reaction is equal to the rate of a reaction. Rate constant is equal to the rate of a reaction if the concentration of X and Y, both the reactants is unity. The concentration of the reactants is unity. If X concentration of X is 1 and concentration of Y is also 1, then rate is equal to K. That means K is equals to rate. That is said, the rate constant of a chemical reaction is equal to the rate of a reaction. Rate constant is equal to the rate of a reaction when the concentration of each reactant is unity. This is also called specific reaction rate. Rate constant is dependent on temperature and it increases with the increase in temperature. Order of a reaction. Order of a reaction you have learnt in standard 11, and this order of a reaction is also there in standard 12. So that means slowly we are entering into standard 12 syllabus. Now what is order of a reaction? Now here in this slide we have taken the reaction A plus B is giving you C plus D. We are having the reactants A and B, so these are the concentration terms, and C and D are the products. So these are also the concentration terms. So what it is said, how to find out the rate? This is the number of concentration terms that determine the rate. Okay. Now, suppose I want to write the rate of this particular reaction. How can I write the rate of this particular reaction? Rate is equal to K, concentration of A and concentration of B. This is the rate of a reaction. What is order of a reaction? It is said that the part to which the concentration term of a particular reactant in the rate law, that means experimentally, the part to which the concentration term of a particular reactant in the rate law is raised is called the order of reaction with respect to that particular reactant. Now suppose this is the rate expression we are getting, and this is the experimentally rate law we are getting this expression. Now A is a concentration term, it's a particular reactant, and the power of this A is 1 because nothing is written means 1 is written. So I can say that this reaction is first ordered with respect to A. Similarly with B, it is B to the power 1. So I can say that the reaction is first ordered with respect to B. And the overall order of reaction for this reaction is 1 plus 1, that is 2. In the same way, if I'll say that the rate of a reaction is proportional to the concentration of A to the power x, so I can write A to the power x. It means that it is xth order with respect to A. The reaction is xth order with respect to A. And if the rate is proportional to the concentration of B to the power y, then I can write B to the power y. It means that it is yth order with respect to B. So the overall rate, I am getting this K rate is equal to K A to the power x and B to the power y. So the order of this reaction, the overall order of this reaction is x plus y. Just add this part. This is the order of a reaction. Now this will be more clear to you in the next video when we will do the elaborate study of this order of a reaction. Rate expression, how can we write? So taking into account the rate constant and the reaction order, the overall reaction, the overall rate expression can be written as rate is equals to k x to the power m y to the power n, where m and n are the orders of the reaction with respect to x and y. So the overall order of reaction is m plus n. It is the experimental rate. This is known as rate law. Now another example to calculate the order of a reaction. Suppose we are having a reaction like this. Rate is equals to k x y to the power 2. That means in rate law we found that the rate with respect to x, it is coming x to the power, nothing is there, that means 1, and rate is proportional to y to the power 2. In experimentally we are getting that in rate law. Okay, so it means that y has double effect of x on the rate of a reaction. Okay, this is the order with respect to y. That means with order with respect to y is 2. Order with respect to y is 2. And x must have an order of 1 because nothing is there. If I'll write x or if I'll write x to the power 1, that is both are same. So we are not writing 1. But if I am writing rate is equals to k x and y to the power 2, it means that the rate is depending on x and y. In what form? It is the order, x must have an order of 1 and y must have an order of 2. So the overall order of reaction, that is x plus y, is 1 plus 2, that is 3. That means this reaction is a third order reaction. Am I clear to you? What is this? Reaction rate and order. The reaction rate is the velocity of reaction to convert the reactants into its product. Reaction rate is the velocity of reaction to convert the reactants into the products. Number 2, reactions may be classified according to the order of a reaction. What type of reaction? What order reaction? It can be zero order, first order, second order. It is depending upon the overall order of a reaction. That is the individual order of the reactants we will find and then we will add it, which is the number of reacting species whose concentration determines the rate at which the reaction occurs. The most important order of reactions are zero order. That is, breakdown rate is independent of the concentration of any of the reactant. It is not depending, the concentration depend on the concentration of any one of the reactant. First order, reaction rate is determined by one concentration term. And second order, the rate is determined by the concentrations of two reacting species. This explanation of all these things, I'll tell you, elaborate explanation I'll give you in the next video. The decomposition of many drugs can occur simultaneously by two or more pathways, which complicates the determination of rate constant. Now, with this, I'm ending the video here. This was all about what you have read in Standard 11 and little bit what you will read in Standard 12 also. So, next video, I'll start from again the order of a reaction, collision theory of reaction rate, activation energy, and molecularity of a reaction.